We're back.
You're not recording.
I am recording.
Look at the thing.
Oh, fucking God.
Yeah, oh my fucking God.
Should we stop too?
No. Keep it going.
Okay.
Ready?
That's what she said.
Sup? Welcome back to Stay Frothy, the podcast you'll hate that you love. Here we are with another edition of the greatest podcast that you've never heard of. Craig, what's up, dude? How have you been?
I'm good. How are you, Brad?
I'm all right. Here I am standing again with no chair.
You're not gonna get a chair,
this. This isn't fair. Can you guys just invest in a third chair so I can sit down?
That's a no-can-do, Brad. We're a two-chair kind of place.
Yeah. We only have 2 chairs in here, Brad.
As much as I like this place, I really hate the fact that I don't have a goddamn chair to sit down in. Like, can you just please invest? I don't care if it's like a lawn chair or whatever. Well, maybe something
I have a good idea that we can discuss later, but it has something to do with turning that chair around and us doing this entire podcast from the couch.
Okay.
Like I feel like I have to just pick up the mic now because I'm so sick and tired of bending over.
Sure, it'll sound like you're screaming at it. So let's move on.
That's what
Mike is back here on the podcast. Mike, it's so fucking good to see you.
Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks, guys. It's good to be back.
It's been a while. The last few podcasts, you've just been cooking it up in the
oddly
kitchen.
enough, I've been here the whole time. I've just been off to the side whipping up.
He's literally been
Whipping up in the
to
kitchen.
the left of me, cooking up good shit in the kitchen.
And I'm back.
And he's back. So let's go ahead and get into the content so we don't lose viewers in the time span that we've already spent talking right now. Craig Jackson, our main man, the number one in charge, leading the way for relationships with his friend group. We're going to get into a topic. I thought that was a good introduction to where we're going.
I mean, I thought
Keep
you were
going,
complimenting
dude.
me, and then all of a sudden it just spirals into this, backhanded bullshit. I really don't.
I didn't think it was
appreciate
backhanded.
I
Okay.
look at you as a friend.
I think what Brad was trying to say is that true love is blind.
True love is very blind.
I look at Brad as a friend, and I don't appreciate the path that we're going down here.
Well, and what comes with love, guys? Weddings.
Yeah.
Weddings. Craig Jackson. You've been to a couple weddings recently. This technically isn't the wedding season, right?
Right.
But, people still
Getting wedding
coordinate and
invitations.
go to weddings and, all that jazz. I did that just fucking ridiculous intro of you because I know you've been on a couple of weddings
Sure.
when it was wedding season. So I just want to get into this topic because I think that this is, honestly, I'm so inexperienced when it comes to this type of stuff that, it's just, I figured it would just be a good talking point to kind of understand what all goes into a wedding. I've only been to one true wedding where I was like a guest and I saw everything that went on and whatnot, but I figured we would just kind of, resort to you to talk about this.
I think, weddings are really interesting social gatherings in my opinion because you're going there to pretty much, praise a couple folks that figured it out, fell in love with each other, which is what I'm thinking everybody is out there looking for. So granted, I went to a lot of these weddings with my girlfriend, and of the weddings that I went to, it's interesting to see who's there, in couples, who's there alone, what are your activities. Then you always have to tie in wedding crashers, is this going to be parallel to Wedding Crash? I don't think it ever is. And then besides that, even just holding your shit together when you're at weddings. I mean, let me not say you can't, you don't want to be that guy. You definitely can. And, maybe from time to time I've been that guy, but
I think we're rambling a little bit here.
But drawing it back in, I wanted to tie this together with weddings are interesting because there's a lot of different components to it, but one of the biggest components to it is having a plus one and whether or not to ask for a plus one and who you take. And,
correct.
I think that's just a really interesting aspect of it.
I wanted to dive into it because the first wedding that I ever went to, I asked someone and got a hard rejection. And I was like, whatever, fuck it. I'm going to just go stag,
Right.
And I don't know if a majority of people our age do that. Is that a norm? But at the same time, I have a wedding coming up in October, and I was just thinking, is it a bad look for me to go stag to a wedding, or do you have to feel the need to like ask somebody to go with you? And when you do ask those people, is it awkward for the girl if you've never been in like a relationship type context, if you don't have that type of I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to go stag at all, especially like, we've all learned this the hard way from like banquet season, and like you force a date.
Banquet as in like formals in college.
Formals, like you go to a beach, you invite a date, anything, pretty much anything. And everybody can relate to this, where you've kind of felt obligated to bring a date, and you've maybe forced it because you didn't want to go stag. And then whenever you force it, maybe there's those hilarious stories where it turns out awesome, but then there's also those stories where it just turns out like a disaster, and you really just would have been better off just sucking it up, going stag, and just ripping it up with like all your friends that are going to be there anywhere.
Right.
And just being confident enough to do that, I think is important. But like, I've never gotten a +1 invite before, which has actually been kind of nice.
Like from a girl?
No, from like two, like.
Oh,
from,
you mean like somebody
friends,
invites you to their wedding, and they're like, you can bring a +1.
When my friends invited me to their wedding,
gotcha.
And like none of our friends really have gotten +1 for the ones that I've been to. For the most part, there's some here and there that are bringing their girlfriends, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I've never quite had to deal with that.
So let me ask you this: is it on kind of the person that's inviting you to understand, like, okay, I know this person's situation. I'm not going to put the burden on them to have a +1.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Meaning
nice to give them the option. Like, if your boy knows, like, hey, like you've kind of been seeing this girl, and it's going the right way, then like, yeah, they should toss you the option of the +1. The ball's in your court there. If you have a girlfriend, they should like a serious girlfriend, they should definitely be tossing you a +1. But if they know that like you're rolling stag with like a couple of your other boys that are going to be there, dude, just let the boys go stag. If they could all, and then I think you just let them have a good time and take the pressure off them.
So,
okay, here's my point. Sorry.
Well, one thing I was going to add though, and I think this piggybacks off that, is so there warrants a conversation up front between the person that's inviting you and you as an attendee, to where you kind of openly say like, okay, I would like a +1 because there's somebody I'm thinking about taking. Rather than blindly saying, hey, by the way, I'm inviting you, so you get a +1. Is that the more convenient way to go about this? Or
I don't know.
What is, and I think you can throw this to Brad as well, what is kind of etiquette there? I mean, how do you approach that? Because you don't want to put your buddy in the situation that you're just mentioning right now.
Well, my thing was, so say you're getting invited to a wedding from a friend. In our context, a fraternity brother who we don't live near, we haven't seen in a while, but obviously we were memorable. We had good times in college, and they were courteous enough to think of us and invite us to their wedding, which is awesome. But maybe they don't know like the climate of our dating scene or who we've been seeing, so it's just like,
why not ask?
What, the person who's inviting you to the wedding?
If he's inviting you to his wedding, you'd think that there's enough
for him,
a relationship for him to be like, hey, by the way,
you can bring a +1.
We have like some availability to have extra people.
Yeah.
Would you want to have a +1?
I mean, is that how weddings work? I don't even know.
I think that is how weddings work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is proper etiquette. Yeah. Like if it were my wedding and I was going to invite you guys beforehand, I'd be like, hey, just FYI, you guys can have +1s if you want them.
Yeah, I would totally.
But I'm
do
not
that.
just going to send you an invitation that says you +1.
Okay.
Right.
So it's kind of implied.
Yeah, I would want to think it was implied, and therefore, when you're pulling it back and thinking about this whole, predicament of having a +1 or not having a +1, I think that you can lay down and set expectations up front rather than worrying about things reactively.
Okay, to which now I'll pivot and say, so you are granted a +1. It's clear between you and the person who's inviting you to their wedding. Now, the person who needs to come up with the +1, say they have not been in the dating scene for a couple of years now. And by dating scene, I mean seeing somebody who they just solely one person, monogamous relationship. You have to go find a date. You don't necessarily have to, but it's just a good look, right?
But
you want to show up to a wedding with
See,
with a significant other.
So first off,
person.
this is your choice.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
So in this situation, you're saying like, okay, I'm putting myself under the pressure to bring somebody that I think is presentable, that will represent me well, and that I'm good enough, either friends with and or have a relationship with, that this will be okay.
Yeah. Well,
and she will say yes. But you're deciding that.
Right,
Yeah.
but even if you invite somebody who you guys think or who you think to yourself, that's a really good friend of mine. If I ask her, is she gonna think otherwise? Because
You're a
a
bad
wedding
judge
is
of character.
because of I'm a bad judge of character.
You'll
No,
have a
this
bad
is
judge of
like
character. If you're like, oh, I know this girl's going to go with me if I ask her and I put myself under this pressure and she says no, then you're a poor judge of the entire situation.
Well, and then
No,
one-
go
well,
ahead, yeah.
And then what about like? So what if you like? Here's the other thing. You're going to a wedding. Love is in the air, man. Everyone's
Exactly.
having fun.
That's what
Everyone's
I'm
getting
saying.
Drunk. Everyone's
It's the
dancing.
most special
there's gonna
time.
there's gonna be a lot of single guys going stag. There's gonna be a lot of single girls there. And so
okay.
So then like let's say. Okay, now you're getting a little worried about like the whole +1 thing. You invite somebody just to invite them. Now you're there with them. Is that going to prevent you from them maybe
Going
meeting
and
somebody
talking
else
with
and
other
having fun?
chicks?
Maybe go talk to some of the other girls at the wedding.
Who meets people at weddings?
People meet
I would
people at weddings,
imagine
right?
everyone.
I don't think people meet people and then...
I don't know, what planet
that's
are
all
you
you
living
do.
No,
on?
no, you meet people, but I'm like... I'm looking at this...
Bridesmaids,
Yeah,
groomsmen.
I don't
like-
think shit pops off at weddings like we think it does.
I mean, I guess
think it's a good
all
social
depends.
gathering.
It all depends.
Like
on the
when you
wedding.
went stag to this wedding, which ended up happening because you got, you took the L and you're still holding it. When you went stag, did you at least think you could shoot your shot?
It depends on the
Yes or no?
I think it depends on the demographic. You have that's the thing about a wedding is that there's so many demographics because you have both parents from both sides.
Yes or
of,
no?
Do I think what?
Did you at any time say, oh, I've recognized that there's X amount of single girls here, and you know what? This is turning into a thing where I'm going to go and start hitting on girls.
Well, I think the point that Bada was making was you don't know. So like
no,
you're kind of
no, I'm asking you about your situation that you do know about.
yes, there was an opportunity for me to go talk to single girls, but
Did you?
But also there were like my boys who I had graduated with, or we were in college at the same time, and
Exactly.
they had their significant others, and so it's like, yeah, there's gonna be single girls. I think that roll
you're
up too.
you're literally proving my point for me because what I'm
How?
saying is,
What is your point?
you have like your boys and you're there to see your boys and it's your boys' wedding. This is not Wedding Crashers where you show up like a stranger to the wedding and you're out there like, hunting like a weirdo.
Sure.
That's and when you break that movie down, it's a weird concept. We're not gonna do that. What I'm saying is you're there, you're at your boy's wedding, and like your job there is to make sure that like, this is like your last night in which you're not going to be full-fledged on married. This is like literally minute one of it. So you're going to spend your time doing that. And no, there isn't time to go out there and, flirt and hit on people because it's just like not going to present itself.
I think you just have to, what it comes down to really, this is going to sound super corny, but you just got to like actually read the situation and just make a judgment call and then just rock it out as best you can. Like,
And that even goes for asking a chick, because I have a story, and I don't know if you guys want to listen to it or hear it out.
how long is the story?
I'm going to
Was it the
paraphrase.
story that you said earlier?
Yeah,
Well, we already heard it.
the viewers didn't.
No, like you said it earlier in the
That I got
podcast.
that I got
you asked
rejected.
the girl and she said no. Like,
Right.
yeah, we
But
got
I didn't
that.
engage it. Like we went on a couple of
We
dates,
don't,
I guess.
we don't have to go down it, like, bro. Like,
All right,
you
we're
don't
all
have to-
gonna-
into a
listen,
wedding.
listen. You don't have to justify yourself to the viewers.
When is
She
it
said
appropriate?
no.
All right, paraphrase it. When is it appropriate to ask a
Paraphrase
girl?
it, she said no.
Is it is it creepy if like I go on like 2 dates with a chick and then I'm like,
Yes.
I'm vibing with
Totally.
you.
Yes.
I'm vibing with
Yes.
you.
That's a hard yes.
I think that this is
Two dates is two. That's not, dude. That is
Yes.
that's such a.
But what if
Yes.
but what if you were to
Yes.
lay down and you were to say, look, this isn't anything serious. I'd like a +1. It's
That's
still
even
weird.
creepier.
It's
Yes.
still weird.
I would
All right,
do
guys.
That. I would do that.
I'm sorry. I'm a fucking weirdo who invites girls after a second date to a wedding. I'm sorry.
For your
So,
viewers.
There was
nothing to be
there was
sorry
the
about.
conclusion.
Listen,
No,
sorry.
fuck
No,
all of
no,
you guys.
I'm gonna-
You're wrong.
Stop.
You're wrong. This is my
Stop.
podcast.
Stop.
Suck my dick, both
Stop.
of you.
Don't get super
Wrong.
Stop. Don't get super defensive over here.
Wrong.
What I'm gonna say is this.
Wrong.
I agree with Brad on the aspect that like, flip the script. And I've been to a wedding. I was sitting next to this dude at this wedding up in Pennsylvania that I went to, and I'm like, hey man, like, what are you doing here? Because like I don't know anybody else here, so what could you actually be doing here? And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, I'm here with this girl. I'm like, oh wow, so you guys are dating? He's like, not really. I honestly met her on Tinder about like 4 weeks ago.
This is your situation?
Yeah, no, this was this guy's situation
Okay.
next to me. It's like I had met this girl like 4 weeks ago on Tinder. We went out on a couple dates. She asked me to his wedding, and I was like, fuck it. I think it'll actually be fun.
Right?
How's it going?
That's my
No,
mindset.
I mean, he did not have fun at the wedding.
Right.
Okay, but
He did not
but
have
still,
fun at the wedding. His girl that he was there with was crying a lot.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Because it's a wedding,
wedding.
dude.
Yeah,
it's a fucking wedding.
There's always things going on. She was crying a lot, but we got to talk about a lot of different things, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy Butler got traded that day. And it was a really interesting day that like we had together. But what I'll say is, what?
No, keep going.
What
I was showing
what I'll
Bono
say
because he's out of the
to
frame.
Brad's point, there is kind of a little bit of a double standard because I feel like with guys with girls, you really have to either have some sort of commitment or be like really good friends with them to take them to a wedding. But with girls with guys, they can very much so ask like a friend, and a guy's just be like, yeah, I mean, this is gonna be fun. I'm not gonna know anybody there. Even to that point, like I'm still single.
There's going to be an open bar.
Yeah, it's like I'm still single.
There may be
so-
single chicks.
Yeah, so why not?
Exactly.
So I think that really answers the question. If we're boiling down to it,
Yeah.
feel free to jump in and either agree or disagree.
I think you know what it does answer my question. So yes, it's not creepy to ask somebody on to a wedding, right? If you haven't if there's no like intimate relationship there.
It's not even intimate. I think it's just there has to be that firm understanding of like I'm your really good friend, or you're seeking to have some sort of night with me because we're not friends, but like we have something going on.
Gotcha.
Right.
And so like if you take a girl out on a couple dates, like there hasn't been the chemistry there hasn't been the trust. And therefore like you're gonna go share a hotel room in wherever the fuck the wedding is and go to everything
pretty serious
together with a
event,
bunch
yeah.
of fucking strangers.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment, and it's weird. And I think,
And it's money. It's money, too.
yeah, it's money. I think guys from a certain aspect will just sit there and be like, "This is weird, but like, I'm just gonna
I'm here.
do this for the story, I guess."
Well,
but,
I'm down for whatever. I don't think I've said no to something
Yeah.
in years.
but like,
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's the right approach to be more conscious and like second guess yourself in those situations because you can put yourself in a compromising situation, which you got to give kudos to. You know, being a girl and being like, hey, yo, this is fucked up. Like, I don't really think I want to be out in this situation with you alone in wherever the fuck the wedding is, going and meeting a bunch of strangers.
Right. No, I respect that. I get that 100%. I'm talking about somebody who you are good friends. You've like established that relationship,
Right.
like on a friendship level. But then like
You can't do that from a coffee date and a lunch date, right? That's why she said no.
Brad gets rejected.
Brad gets rejected.
Brad gets rejected, guys. Just so we're all clear, I get
Brad's
rejected.
a human being, all right, guys? I know you built him up on this pedestal to be this god and all, but like, Brad
Not
even
even.
is a human being.
Not even, dude.
He's just a man.
I'm
just a
just
man.
a mortal idiot out here creating content on the internet.
Known local
and
idiot,
shooting-
Brad Dobbins.
Shooting my shot.
He shoots his shot.
I shoot that
He's
shit.
this Ildrunas Ilgauskas of life. He shoots his shot and for the most part doesn't go in. All right.
All right. So big news this week, and then we're just jumping into week 3 of what is now the NFL season, aka fantasy football.
It's so good to be back.
We are
It's gonna be
back,
back.
baby.
It's gonna
We
be
are back and in action.
Brad is still a Titans fan.
Shut the actual fuck up. Panther gang gang till I die. And
Moment
let's
of silence
continue.
for the
Let's
Titans.
continue this segment. And let's continue this segment. No, actually, we can pick back up where we left off from our very first podcast that we did. No hostility towards the Titans. You know what?
Yo, all right, we're going to
No
talk
hosti-
about Josh Gordon getting picked up by the Patriots this
Okay,
week.
yeah.
Fantasy
Honestly,
football
this was like
talk
one of the
starts
most exciting
right now.
electric things
Here
I've
we
seen.
go.
Stop.
You don't tell me what to do, dog.
Stop.
What the fuck you think this is? This is my podcast.
All right, guys, I appreciate you guys coming out to Stay Frothy Radio. I'm Craig Jackson.
Our podcast.
Mike Botto's here, and we got Brad Dobbins here. It's his podcast. Nah, but for real, Josh Gordon getting picked up is unbelievable news because we have a guy that at one point, like very early on in his career, was dominating football.
Josh
for
Gordon.
1,600 yards in a season. Missed 4 games that season. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was really, really, really putting it down. Likes weed. Can blame him, but likes weed. And drugs and getting drunk. And he likes doing it while he plays football. Which, again, who can blame him? But that is the situation that he's in.
What do you mean, who can blame him? This could be a whole nother topic, but I'm not going to dive into it.
Let's just not even worry about that.
We all like getting drunk before we play football with our friends. That's what I'm saying.
What a valid point you're making here.
Yeah.
Making millions of dollars and then coming to work intoxicated is what you're vouching for.
Will you let me finish?
All right, go ahead. Finish.
What I'm trying to say is him getting picked up by the Patriots changes the entire game because he is such an electric talent, and couple him with a guy like Tom Brady with the offense that they have, with the weapons that they already have, with the pedigree and the experience and honestly the legacy that they built over the last 17 years. It's a very, very scary concept, and it's something that
It's a big
goddamn,
move.
the NFL
It's a big
really
move in the
always
NFL.
keeps us on the edge of our seat.
And so Belichick says, like everybody that comes on board with the Patriots starts with a clean slate. So right now, Josh Gordon, everything that happened with the Browns, whatever was going on there, they let him go, and they traded him to the Patriots, and now we got him, and he's got a clean slate. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen like what happened with Ocho Cinco, where we just got Ocho Cinco and then he just never played. Because Josh Gordon, I want to see this guy on the field crushing it.
Can I explain the biggest difference about you guys having Ocho Cinco and having Josh Gordon? How old was Ocho Cinco?
He was older.
How old is Josh Gordon?
27 years old.
27 years old.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a guy in his prime.
Yeah.
Like, this is when he's supposed to be his best. He got 1,600 yards in a season after he missed 4 games. He's playing his best football right now.
Yeah.
He's healthy. He's not on drugs.
He was at practice. And
and he's on my fantasy team.
Yep.
And
He's
so
on
there's-
mine as well. I'm
Yes, and
pretty
there's
ecstatic
nothing
about
more
it.
exciting than having a guy that was going to drown on the Browns. I mean, the
Yeah.
Browns suck. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm sorry. Give it up. It's time to like another football team.
And you know what? Maybe we'll come back to
Whoa.
that. I'll let you finish. But
Whoa.
maybe we just touch on poor Gonzalez at the end of this.
Well, Gonzalez, I honestly thought I saw Gonzalez's resume on my manager's desk this morning because he's unemployed. Gonzalez is going to be making cold calls at Corporate X I sell subscriptions.
Are you talking about the kicker?
Somewhere.
Are you talking about the kicker?
Yes, because he couldn't hit a field goal
He did
if
for
it was
2 straight
hitting him
games.
in the face.
He missed that first one to win the game, and then the universe said, you know what? Let's give Gonzalez another chance.
One more shot.
To give him one more
To
shot.
beat the Saints of all teams.
Well, let's give him one more shot. And you know what?
It wasn't even close.
It wasn't close. It wasn't
Shanked
close.
it left.
And you know what? The Browns, they haven't won a game in over 2 seasons. And to sit there and be like Coach Hugh Jackson, and he's got that look on his face like, I'm sad.
He's at a loss. He was just at a loss for words.
I'm really sad that this happened to me today.
I mean, and we're just sitting here like, all right, cue Instagram, cue Twitter,
Cue
all the
all the
videos of
memes, cue all the
Browns.
jokes.
Yeah.
You are
Me
going
laughing.
to get flamed.
I saw Cleveland Browns fans punching themselves in the head,
And
throwing themselves
Yeah.
downstairs,
Oh, they were on,
beating their TVs in, and you're telling yourself like, yo, y'all act surprised. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
You guys have been to 2 Super Bowls since they've won a game.
And what did we say? We were sitting here watching that, and he came up to bat, and we were looking at that, going, you know what? I've read this book a million times. I know exactly where this ball's going. To the right.
Yeah, to
and
the
it
right.
does every time.
So sad. So sad. You know what? And he actually overshadowed the Vikings kicker missing 3 fucking field goals
Yeah.
in a game. And, he got fired too, but I don't care about that. All I care about right now is watching my guy Gonzalez come out there and do the universe right. You know what? I know Thanos is
he's-
going to come down to the planet Earth
He's no
and
longer
kill
on the
half
Browns.
our universe, right?
He's no longer on the Browns anymore.
I know. I saw his resume on my manager's desk this morning. Because he's unemployed. What I'm saying is, Thanos is going to kill half the universe, and the Browns aren't going to win a fucking game this season.
I mean, where is Gonzalez? Is he out of
That's a
Cleveland?
bold
He
statement.
must have had to, you have to pack up and go? Like, where is he?
I'm pretty sure some other team's going to pick him up. I don't know
you know what?
the sorry excuse of a team
You know what
that would be.
You know what I'm pretty sure of?
I think he'll find a job in football, though,
You know
which
what
is
I'm actually
kind
pretty sure
of
of?
crazy.
Right now, that whatever the hell they paid Gonzalez to go out there and miss those kicks, they could have paid me the same money.
Yeah.
I would have done the same damn thing.
I'll shank it 100% of the time. I will miss all the field
I'll
goals.
be the
Hell,
most
I might even
consistent.
make it.
I'd be the most consistent Brown on the team.
I know. You know what? We could pay you to miss all those field goals. You might actually make one by accident.
I know. Then you have to cut me. You have to cut me because I broke the losing streak. Yeah. It's the only reason why people come to their games anymore is to be like, I want to be there for the first win in the last 3 years.
I feel like we could just do a whole entire segment just on how the Browns have completely exceeded no one's expectations.
No one's.
In the past, I think I saw a statistic since 2004. The Browns. You said it in the past 2 seasons, but I think in 2004, maybe it's the Browns haven't had a winning season since 2004.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't think you're right, but I also am not going to challenge that because they suck.
Yeah.
Anyways, having Josh Gordon, I had drafted him probably in the 3rd or 4th round, thinking he was going to come in, play that first game, be a fantasy monster, but the Browns would be in the Browns, and then obviously this whole thing happened. But I'm super pumped that I ended up picking up Josh Gordon because I think that he's going to be an absolute weapon, especially for all those people who are in PPR leagues. Please, better believe, with him on the New England Patriots, if they're not doubling up Josh Gordon, they're going to try and double up Gronkowski and vice versa. I mean, just think about the unlimited possibilities of points each week with
Pray for the National Football League.
Dare I say it, and this is coming from a Panthers fan. Shit on me if you want to call me a Titans fan. But coming from the GOAT of our generation, the GOAT of quarterbacks, do you want to finish my statement?
Tom Brady.
A lot of people are probably going to hate that, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to give the man the respect.
I mean, I'm wearing a Joe Montana jersey and full on conceding that Tom Brady is the best quarterback ever.
It is what it is.
Numbers don't
You know what?
lie.
If anybody ever
Rings don't
honestly,
lie.
leave a comment. I dare you to. I will fucking respond and put you in your grave.
Numbers don't lie and rings don't lie.
Here we go.
Statistics don't lie. His pedigree doesn't lie. I mean, goddamn, he's hot.
He's so hot right now. God damn it.
Well, all right. Well, this was brought to you by White Claw.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten one in your hands while you're watching this podcast, you're probably sober. Or not.
Or you could be at work. Uh-oh. Look, the camera just got off right at the time that we're ending this. So
And also, never forget that this is brought to you by Big Dad's
Big Kitchen,
where
all we do
cook is chicken.
Damn, I even messed up my own slogan. Fuck yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace.